All right, we're going to do our provisional cast on using a crochet hook. If you've not done single chaining before with crochet, you're about to learn. First, you can just give yourself a couple of inches. We're going to tie ourselves just a single knot at the end to remind us which side we started on, and then just inside it we'll do our slip knot, and once you have the slip knot, we'll start making our chains. To create single chains with our crochet hook, we insert the hook right here inside our slip knot, scooch up loosely our slip knot here to the top of our hook. You can tension the yarn how you normally do for your knitting. You might grab onto the tail here to give you some additional tension, and then you're simply going to rotate towards you and hook the yarn, and then you're going to pull it through the first slip knot there that you created. Sometimes that can take a little working. And then you're going to continue to repeat that. Bring it in. Try to hold the tension here at the bottom. Try to keep each stitch semi-consistent here. You can see I am not a crocheter. And then you'll chain the number of stitches about 10 more than the number you're going to be casting on. So if you haven't been counting, you can go back and count. These bumps here, these spines, are what we'll actually be casting onto in a bit. So you can count those. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. We're going to have about 14, and I'm going to continue on until I have about 110, because I'm going to be casting on 96 stitches. I want to give you a really good close-up here. When we made our original chain stitches, we created a little knot to remind us which end we start on. You need to start on the opposite end. The last stitches that you chained is where you're going to be starting. The next thing we'll be looking for are these purl bumps here. That's where what we're going to be lifting up. We have these purl bump side on the back of the chained stitches that look a lot like our knit stitches, and we're simply starting on the end that we finished with. We're going to take our needle and we're kind of going to pretend like this is another needle, and starting with this bump, we're just going to wrap our yarn around it, just like if we were adding another yarn. And we're going to pull it through that bump. And then insert the needle front to back through the second bump. Find our working yarn, wrap it around the needle tip, pull it through the second bump. Front to back, wrap that working yarn, pull it through. I'm just going to get ready to join in the round here. Just going to ignore my provisional materials there. Then place my marker for the beginning of round. I'm going to continue here and just knit, making this first stitch extra tight just by pulling here. Just like to make those extra snug at the beginning here. Make sure there's no ladder. Then continue on knitting in the round to make the brim that will come back and fold whichever length you'd like to have. There is a little finessing involved here in joining our brim. Thankfully, this wool stock has enough bite that it's going to really keep the form of the stitches as we pull out the provisional cast on edge. I'll show you how to do that. Insert your needle, unravel your next chain, pick up that stitch, knit the two together, slip it off, knit the next stitch, unravel that stitch, lift it with the needle. So that's one way you can do this, and then another way involves bringing in another circular needle, and let me demonstrate that. So another way you can knit your folded brim together from your provisional cast on is to take a second needle. I just picked a smaller needle from my case, and just kind of ignore your needles that you're working with, but take care to not let those stitches slip off. But you can undo the chain and just pick up the stitches like so. So I'm undoing the chain, picking up the stitch, doing the chain, picking up a stitch, doing a chain, picking up a stitch. So it's one way, and then you slide your needle through, and then you hold these two needles together, and you knit the one from the front, and you knit the one from the back, and then you knit them together. So you insert the needle through the front, insert the needle through the front leg with the stitch in back, and knit the two together. I think that works a little faster if you do have some extra needles. Whichever way you choose, you'll continue this all the way around the brim until you'll come back and you'll have your folded brim.